All right, we now welcome on a very special guest from the Memphis Hustle, G League affiliate of the Memphis Grizzlies, but you might know him as a former UConn Husky. It is Christian Vital from 2016 to 2020. You were up balling out for UConn. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Barstool HQ. You've been here before, right? You have some relationships with the Game Time crew?
Well, I played a little bit with Smitty and the guys, on Warzone and everything. This is actually my first time in the facility, which is a dope spot. You guys got a crazy setup going on.
It's nice that you say that. It's interesting. We're borrowing this studio. It's one of the biggest podcasts on my take, but it's not necessarily the nicest,
it's cool.
right?
It's cool.
Yeah, it's like
cool.
it's like your basement. It's homey. It's homey.
Yeah, it is a little vibe. Get some Warzone, get some games going on, flat screen, everything like that, little monitor. So, but it's a good spot. I appreciate you guys for having me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So let's dive into UConn. We're a college basketball podcast.
For sure.
Obviously, the biggest news over the last year with UConn, the transition from the AAC to the Big East. So
yes,
what do you think that means just for the state of the program? And are you happy with it? Or are a lot of the alums happy with it? I'd imagine that has to be the case,
sure.
right?
Yeah, no, for sure. We're home. Basically we home. When it officially got announced, it was the big thing at MSG, UConn back in the Big East, myself being from Queens, New York, I was growing up watching the Georgetown, UConn, Syracuse. I loved the Big East. That was my dream conference, and to miss it by a year, and stuff like that, it hurts for me, but I'm glad that the program is back to where it's supposed to be, for sure.
What was the most? I'll start right off the bat. What was the most hostile crowd you had in your playing days? You talk about the Big East, the fans. I've seen some people go at it. Like, to me, I love those tickets. You're a New York City kid. We'll get into that a little bit. But what was the most hostile crowd that you went into on the road?
Hostile crowd on the road. Okay, hostile crowd on the road. I'll probably say Cincinnati. Cincinnati was a little old Big East school as well.
Yep.
So it was definitely history with there. Cincinnati was crazy. I would say it wasn't a road game because when we come to the Garden, we're always home no matter who we playing against. So we were playing against Syracuse.
You think you're home against Syracuse?
They're closer. Yeah. It's an easier drive.
Hell yeah, we home against.
Syracuse travels.
I'm a Syracuse grad for what it's
worth. I think UConn has a great presence at the Garden. But I think we put that to a vote. You're getting a 50-50 split.
I don't know about that one. I'm taking my Huskies every time.
Syracuse
with that
people,
one.
man, they live at the Garden.
Yeah, we do too, though.
All right, okay.
We do too, and we back playing in the Garden. Big East tournament now and everything.
Right.
Syracuse is off, and the ACC doing their thing. But I would say the games when we played Syracuse at the Garden for sure. That was like my first game at the Garden freshman year. I only scored 2 points, but there were the game-winning free throws, and it was just like going to the line and hearing a sold-out MSG going crazy is nothing like it.
So I actually wanted to ask you about one of the Syracuse games at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the post-game handshake with Coach Hurley.
Oh,
he screamed at one of your players, Jalen Adams.
My boy J.A.
He's like, "Yeah, let's go," and he turns his shoulder and
he
just
had
shakes
to
his
lock
hand with
in.
Boeheim.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And he totally changes it. What went through your mind during that moment?
It was crazy. I mean, let's be honest. It was a big win for us. First year coach. That was Coach Hurley's first year. We had won a couple games at that time, but it was early in the season, I believe. Yeah, that game was early, so it was really like big for us because that was our first big win. To let people know like we're back. In a sense, and obviously, he has to be respectful. Coach Boeheim, we're not going to send no disrespect his way. He's a legend and everything. He's done everything, you could, championship and everything. So he had to go shake his hand, but we were pumped though. Like that was big for us. You saw it. That was raw. Like, you can't fake that type of emotion. We knew we needed that game. We wanted that game, and it was in the Garden. Like, come on, you never want to lose in the Garden.
Yeah.
And it added to the rivalry as well.
Right, of course. The Hurleys are kind of like folklore.
Different.
Right. So any coach, we like different. You know a lot of them off the top of your head, their ties.
For sure.
But Nate Oates told us stories about the Hurleys, and we were like, no, tell us more. Like I'm from Staten Island. I watched him coach at Wagner a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, what is he like? What's your favorite story? Like, does he go like light switch like that a lot?
Bro,
where he's screaming at somebody and then he's shaking hands?
Man, y'all don't even know.
All right, fill us in.
Yo, man, y'all don't even know. Like with Hurley, he's everything I needed though. I'll say that. My first 2 years, it was rough. I was adjusting as well. It was a lot going on in the program. Can you hear me? Is it?
Yeah, it's all
okay. Yeah, it was just a lot, going on in the program at the time. Just a lot going on, and he came in, and it was just like he was what I needed. He helped discipline me a lot. He helped show me how to be, you know, how to handle my stuff on the court and off the court, you know. And I appreciate him to this day. You know, we still talk. I was up at UConn, you know, not too long ago. It's all love there. It's all love. We had a lot of tough moments though. Film sessions, crazy. Practices, crazy. Meetings in the office, crazy. You know, just not always on the same page, but it worked out though. You know, we were on the 6-game win. The way it ended, we were on a 6-game winning streak when COVID happened. You know, with a chance to go to the tournament, to bring UConn back to the tournament, with him at the head of head of the realm, and me, you know, leading the team. It was like we were a duo that couldn't be stopped at that time.
On campus,
What's his goal? You said it in film, brutal film. What's his go-to thing in film though? So if you miss a screen or miss a shot, the rewinding 6 or 7 times, or just like holding it and like standing up and just what's his?
He'll have a different couple things. He has his little laser. He has his little cat laser thing, you know, and he's sitting on the side and he's like, so you thought that was a tough screen, huh? Or you didn't think you wanted to get that rebound today, huh? So he's just letting us know, you know, that you got to be great. Like, you know, being at a program like UConn, you know, it demands excellence. You know, the fan base demands excellence. Like, going through those losing seasons, you know, and me being one of the guys who were playing a lot, so I was kind of getting a lot of the criticism. It was like, listen, like, if you're going to be here, people are going to demand greatness and excellence of you. You know, you go into the practice facility, you got Ben Gordon, Ray Allen, Shabazz Napier, Kemba, Andre, Rudy Gay, and like I can't. No disrespect to the other guys, I can't. That's how much. Right. That's how our list, you know. And
Hashim
to beat, exactly. So Charlie Villanueva, you know. I can't even think of anyone else, but Khalid Alameen. So it's like,
listen, we don't bring that name up here. I'm a Duke fan. That guy ruined my life. Oh man, he was good. All right, I'll give you that. All right. A little footnote, but
no, for sure. But it's like every day is like the first time you go in the gym as a UConn, you know, basketball player. And, you know, you see all of that. You see 4 championships on the banner. You see UConn All-Americans. You see the draft lottery. You see guys in the NBA. And it's like, this is what this program, like, these are the guys who built this program. So it's like, for me, I always took it as, like, it was disrespectful for us to be losing like that, because that was the legacy those guys built. They were supposed to come back and be able to see a winning program that they built. So it was tough to be there, but I think we started to figure it out. And like I said, it couldn't have ended any better except with a championship, but we can't get that back, you know?
How does that work with the alumni base? You mentioned that big-time list. When you're playing there, and even right now, do those guys roll through as much as they can? They're obviously busy, but do you keep in touch, text them after game, they give you pointers? How does that work?
I was going to say, even being a pro now, like, I see how much, like, they always say you got a lot more time, you know, than you did in college as a pro, but you still don't, though. You still got other obligations. Like, I'm here today, not that this is an obligation, you know, we're at Barstool, but you know what I'm just saying? You have things to do. You still have a life. But like my senior year, Kemba came to the first night. That was lit for me. I was like, oh shit, Kemba's that first night. Like, that just let me know, and I let him know. It's crazy too. I let him know in the locker room. I'm like, listen, it ain't this season's not gonna be like these last 3 seasons. I give you my word on that one. And I feel like I did what I can. We ended with a winning record that stopped the 3 losing seasons and whatnot. You know, I seen Rudy Gay, you know, in the summer one time just coming back to work out, and I'm just chopping it up with him, and he's just putting me on game as being a pro, you know, adulting in this world and stuff like that, being in the light. So it's cool for sure. It's spoken to Khalid Alameen, you know, a few times. I've chopped it up with Shabazz too. So it's good. You know, it's definitely a family atmosphere for sure. You know, obviously winning helps, you know, in anything you're doing. But it's good though. It's a good family to be around for sure, to be a part of.
That's a perfect transition. Earlier in the episode, we talk about, I don't know, your story kind of just broke today. In a nutshell, 7 Wisconsin seniors had a closed door meeting with Greg Gard. They secretly taped it. Sam Decker came over the top and was like, "Hey, you guys are like kind of whining. You're being bitches. Like, this is soft, you know." So you talk about that presence. Do you think that holds a lot of weight as well? Guys being like, hey, this is how we do things, and that standard, and how that can get lost in some other places?
Oh, no, for sure. Because it's like when you like I'll say, like, I inherited the greatness that the other guys did. So, like, when I went, you know, I hadn't scored a bucket, but I went into a program that was top 25 in the country, that was flying private, you know, had our own apartments, you know, catered food and all of that stuff. So that's the perk. Like when Shabazz was there, he wasn't. We heard what Shabazz was talking about, not being able to eat or eating noodles at certain times and stuff like that. That's an All-American first-round draft pick right there. Why is he struggling? And I'm a dude who's coming in as a 3-star recruit, but I'm getting the perks that he was able to give me. So it's for sure. It definitely does matter, because it's like it also depends on, you know, what you're built like, you know, your character and stuff like that. But to me, I always took it as it was disrespectful to not be taking the craft, to be taking the game serious, to not be, and like I said, when Shabazz was there, they didn't have a practice facility. Like when we got the cold tub, hot tub, we got a whirlpool for dudes who need to rehab injuries but don't need to put too much stress on their bodies. Decked out weight room, crazy. The weight room got changed every year I was there.
They didn't have that when Shabazz Napier was there?
No, we didn't have. They were all practicing in Gamble when Kemba was there.
You wonder how they're winning a fucking title.
Just different, baby. Huskies is
Crazy,
just different.
yeah,
Huskies
crazy.
is different. But that's just to put a light on it. Like, you know, those dudes didn't have that. So think about when Ray was there. You know, I'm talking about Shabazz, but think about when Ben, when Ray, when Andre, Kemba, and all those guys. And they didn't have any of that, and they were making it happen. So for me personally, it was just like, in the beginning it was hard because I didn't understand. I'm a 19-year-old kid. I'm like, yo, the world is on my feet right now. Yeah. Like, I'm lit. I'm from New York. I was going to prep school in Connecticut. I stayed home. I had all the love in the world. So it was like I didn't really understand it. But each year that I felt like more was getting put on me to, you know, to help the program succeed at the time, it was like I understand, like, you know, I can't disrespect the craft. I can't disrespect, you know, the history of this program, because that's just not cool.
Wow. One thing we touched on earlier in the show, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, is obviously the main storyline right now with the NCAA and compensation and the NIL and the Supreme Court. Back in your day, how much realistically, maybe a ballpark, do you think you or your teammates could have realistically made that these guys maybe in the future can start to make because of what's starting to be allowed?
Yeah, so I'll be completely honest. For me, I was a 3-star recruit. Like, my name now is much different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. You know, being at UConn helped me out a lot. So I'm not even gonna act like it didn't. So for me personally, I don't really know. Like, yeah, I could have got this and I could have got that for sure, of course. But I think now is just different. I think social media is just a different beast than it was when I first got to UConn. You know what I mean? Having a blue check on your Instagram means like the world now. You know, being verified or having 10K, 20K and stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm happy for these young guys though, because people don't understand, like, most of us are all coming from the same situation. It's like, we're not missing meals, we're not starving and stuff like that, but it's like some extra money can help out the family, you know. And if a school is making, like, I remember I went to a party my sophomore year. I went to a campus party and I saw a dude with my jersey on, like Vital, number 1, UConn and everything. And I'm like, damn, like, you got that from somewhere. But I didn't get anything put in my pocket for that. So I know a lot of people say, well, you're getting a free education, well, this and that. Well, I didn't go to UConn to get a free education. I went to go play basketball, you know, at a big-time university, which is a mini professional. If you think about it, what other pro teams are in Connecticut?
Right.
Exactly. We are the Celtics. Exactly.
Yeah.
Besides the Suns are good because we actually went to some of their games. Yeah. For sure. So no disrespect to the WNBA at all.
You make a good point. There's no doubt. In the state of Connecticut, 1-2 teams are Connecticut men and women.
I'll correct myself. I said there's no men's professional basketball team in Connecticut.
Absolutely.
We are the professional team. So to see my senior night, you know, my senior night, we had a sold out Gamble. How many tickets were sold because it was Christian Vital's last game? Right. I'm not the biggest thing in the world at all, but on that night, you know, tickets were sold. When I walked out, I saw my sophomore year, when we was losing, those seats were empty. My senior year, when we got a top 25 school coming in, you know, and the senior night, one of the last home games of the season, and I'm looking up, and it's filled to the top where all the banners and everything are. I'm like, well, how much, you know, how much was that having to, not even with myself but my teammates as well, like how much of a part did we have to play in that? So I think it's a different world we're in. You know, to me, I was like, at this point, I'm getting paid now to play basketball. So selfishly, it's like, you know, at least I'm glad I was able to make it out. But for the younger guys, I'm glad that they could start making something, because it helps their family for sure and themselves. Like we look at ourselves as young professional athletes. So it's like, why doesn't everyone else? You know, you're buying tickets to come to our game. The games aren't free. You know, you're not coming to the UConn Syracuse game at the Garden for $0.00. They're taxing that shit. You feel me? So that's where I feel on it. But I'm happy. I'm past it personally, but I'm happy that the young guys do have that opportunity. People always say, you know, you want better for the future and the younger guys than what you had, and I'll be wrong if I didn't want the same for them.
Absolutely. You talk a little bit about the business aspect of it, and you understand that now, right? For sure. You got into that a little bit early. You're from Queens, right? So I guess two-part question. You're from Queens College area of Queens?
Queens Village.
Hollis,
Queens.
Right. Why not go to Middle Village? Why didn't you go to Christ the King High School? But off of that, either way, you ended up going away to school. So at that point, when you went away to high school in Connecticut, is that when you kind of began to understand that, hey, this is a little bit of a business here, like I'm investing in my future?
To be honest with you, I always wanted to go to Christ the King. I'll be completely honest with you.
Best league in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Best league in the country.
Especially at that time, it's like being from Queens. I have a cousin, Mamani. She actually went to Christ the King, and she was on a girls' team.
Oh, they're loaded too, yeah.
She was nice, you feel me? So I'm like, damn, I'm trying to go there. So
sponsored
she actually,
by Nike,
you feel me?
Nice sweatsuits.
Braun, you feel me? So it's like, you know, I mean, the Nike stuff is still coming in. UConn, baby, we good though. Don't even worry about it. Nike is good family. Nike's good people. But it was that's exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Christ the King, but she ended up actually going to prep school because she saw the benefits of it as well, and just going out there, it was just, I did start to see the business of it. It was better for me to get out the city. I'm glad that I appreciate the experience 100%, because it helped me see more of the world. You know, being from New York, if you just stay in New York, you know, you think it's just the city. You know us. We got we're New York dudes. Is like, this is our world and nothing else. You know, our shit don't stink. Blah blah blah. But once you get out and you start to experience, you know, other cultures. You know, when I first went to boarding school at 15, you know, I had classmates from. I had a class, and it was classmates from China, Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Brazil. This place, that place, you know, and I think that definitely helped me a lot, because when I got to college, it didn't seem so big, you know. It was cool and it was fun and everything, but it's just I don't think I was as overwhelmed as I would have been if I just stayed home and stayed in my comfort zone. I think that's the one thing about prep school. It forces you to get out of your comfort zone. You know, you're in the middle of nowhere. You got to interact with other people, or you're just going to sit in your room and be bored all day. And you know, and I think it did end up being the best thing for me, which helped me get to UConn, and you know, to be able to speak to you guys here today.
One thing that happened during your time on campus at UConn that you weren't a part of, but I'm sure you witnessed, the women's winning streak.
Oh,
111 games in a row. Can you explain to us what the vibe was like? And then obviously, unfortunately, ended in the Final Four in 2017, man. But just the intensity.
Bro.
Great for the women's game too, I assume.
Of course. Like the women, and that's another thing, like going to UConn, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, I was never a guy who was like, yo, let me go put on this WNBA game or watch, you know, women's sports or women's basketball in a sense. But being at UConn for 4 years completely changed that. I got so much respect for not only women's basketball, but for women's sports. And it was like, not that I didn't like it or I said, oh, they're whack or anything. It's just like, it just wasn't my interest, you know. It just wasn't my thing. But like going to those games, like I was at the game when they won their 100th game, and I was just like, yo,
in a row.
Yo, this is in a row. Yeah, don't get that 100 games in a row. Like, that's unheard of. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was just crazy to be a part of from a fan standpoint, because we're in the stands and we're sitting next to the fans going crazy, like wanting them to do well, because like that's the thing, like being there, we share the same facility. So that practice facility, you know, we as the men's side and it's the women's side, and we're all cool. We share the weight room together. We share the training area, the hot tub, cold tub together. So we talk, we chop it up, and it's just a good vibe. So it was definitely 100% cool to see them, you know, doing that, you know, because it's all love.
Coach Oriema, legend.
Coach, he's the legend. He's actually cool people. Like I haven't had I haven't shared the most words with him, but I mean, I think there's a respect factor. Like every time I would see him in the facility, he'll give me a head nod. He'll either be working on his treadmill or in the training room doing his thing and not. And he'd be like, "What's up, Steve? How you doing?" Da da da. And I'm just like, "Oh shit, that's Gino right there." You know.
Well, I've heard. So you're kind of killing the rumor that I had.
Oh.
And you were there before he was there.
Uh-huh.
But did you hear anything through a grapevine? Did Calhoun and Oriema kind of butt heads? I heard there's a little hostility there behind the scenes. They might play like out to the public, "Oh yeah, I love Gino and I love Jim," but I heard that there's like signs on the door. There's a little bit of competitive.
I haven't seen or heard anything of that.
I think you're just pleading the fifth, but
I haven't seen or heard anything. You feel me? Calhoun wasn't too much in the building by the time I got there. You know, he had built his legacy up already. But I would like to think that is all love in the UConn family.
I'm glad Marty's not here because anytime I say I have sources or I hear things, he's like, "You're wrong again." So we're lucky our third guy's not here because he's shitting all over me.
He's in Omaha for the college.
He was shitting all over me.
Some lighter questions to wrap up here.
For sure.
The old UConn logo or the current one? The one with the scruff and like the video games? I like that one with the tongue really sticking out.
You like the new one?
No, I like the older one. What do you think?
People are always gonna go retro. I feel like people don't really like change too much.
Fair.
You know, people like what they're used to, their comfort zones, as I was kind of talking about. For me, I kind of played with the old one. I wouldn't mind if we could do like, you know, keep the new one, but you know, for some games do a retro night. Yep. You know, bring back the old one. Put the old Husky on a jersey or two. I mean, it's Nike. We could do whatever, or they could do whatever they want. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of both because I grew up watching UConn with the old one, so that's, you know. But I played with the new one, so right. I'm on the fence 50-50 about it.
I got two more. Best pizza in Queens. Dave does the pizza reviews. Where's the best pizza in Queens?
You got to go to Gabby's. You got to go to Gabby's on Hillside.
Yet? Do we know? I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Gabby's on Hillside for sure. Gabby's on Hillside.
And then the other thing is actually the most puzzling thing. You're on a full scholarship. It says you were an RA as a senior? Is that true?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, one, why? I hate RAs. And two, I
was a chill RA, though.
You didn't need...
You bust people for drinking?
Never,
what's the funniest story you had as an RA? Why'd you do it, too? And then, you know...
To be honest with you, I always felt like I've been like a natural-born leader in a sense. So I would say, you know, I'm the oldest. I got... How many siblings I got? A lot of siblings. I got to count on two hands for my siblings. But I'm the oldest one. You know what I mean? So I think, and just naturally, like I just feel like I'm just a natural born leader. Like playing a guard position, playing point guard. You know, you got to be able to but help your teammates and everything like that. And I was at that when I was an RA. I was an RA with the younger kids. So I was kind of like helping them out. You know, with the transition of being away from home because I was 15 years old away from home, you know, not living with my mom anymore and everything like that. So I was a RA with the younger dudes, so to say. And I just think it just helped me, you know, help me be in a leadership position and know not how to take advantage of it, not how to, you know, boss people around. Like, you know, you need to be a good leader. Like, if you're not a good leader, people won't follow you. People won't listen to you. Right. They won't respect you. So I think that just kind of helped me, you know, just to be in that space of I know I can do what I want, but how to go about it, you know, and how to make everyone feel like, you know, one is not higher than the other. And they let me watch TV later, too. So I had a few rules I didn't have to listen to.
All right, perfect.
That's funny. One final question. We're on the street. Is you're a big-time chess player?
Big time.
How does that work? Have you played matter. From the beginning? I was playing for a while? Or how does that?
When I was being in Queens and everything like that, I was going to a daycare. It's called Blanche Daycare right on Hollis, Queens. Okay. And I started playing a little bit before that, just like recreational and stuff like that. But when I was there, it was like this afternoon thing, and we would play chess all the time. And I'm a natural competitive dude. Like, I can't do anything just to half-ass it. I can't do it. It's just not in me. So when I was playing, and I was playing the older kids, they were kind of beating me. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, I can't go like that. You feel me? I got to put in some work. So it just mentally is just like, and it's fun too. I think it just helps you about life, like how to think. You know, they say you got to think 2-3 moves ahead in the game. And I think it's just a fun competitive thing. I can't play basketball 24 hours out of the day, and I can't do that all my life. So I think it's just something that I enjoy. And being there, I actually went into chess tournaments.
Wow.
I actually went into some chess tournaments. I won one in at Rectory at my first boarding school. I continued playing chess tournaments there, but the chess tournaments really started for me when I was at my after school daycare program.
You watch Queen's Gambit?
I have seen it.
It's good,
it.
Right?
And it's a fire show now for sure. She's tough though. I mean, it's scripted and everything like that, obviously. But it's definitely good. It's definitely good for the entertainment piece for sure. But it definitely put a light on chess though, of how it is what's the word I'm looking for? It is a community. It is a big community. There is a big chess community out there.
Last one real quick. NBA draft lottery is, I think, tonight when it
We're
premieres.
Tuesday.
We're huge Cade Cunningham guys.
Okay.
You're a point guard. You're obviously smarter at basketball than all of us. What's a flaw in his game? Because I think he's, you know what I mean? So, like, we love him. He's great. Everybody knows all the stats. What could be something that he's got to improve on?
I'll be honest with you. Like, I played an American East Coast dude. I didn't really see too many Oklahoma State games. I know he's a big ass guard though. I know he's a big ass guard who could definitely work. Definitely go at it for sure. He's in the talks of being the number one pick for a reason. So I'll say that. I would say honestly, if anything, just adjusting to that NBA game, like just being in the bubble, this past year and everything like that. The game is completely different, and some guys adjust well to it, some guys don't. So I'll say that. But like I said, he wouldn't be in the conversation for it if he didn't know something. You know what I mean? So best kudos to him. Best of luck to him, and hopefully he goes where he wants to go.
All right. Well, that is Christian Vital, formerly of UConn, now at the Memphis Hustle. We'll be rooting for you to get that call up to the NBA.
Appreciate it.
Some point soon.
Soon come.
Yes, but thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. My
Thanks
God.
a lot.